Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our library catalog and I am going to find the book that I want to do my research on. We're doing historical fiction, so I'm going to choose The Boys Who Challenged Hitler. Now, I'm going to start out by doing this library search here by title, since I know the title of my book. And the reason I want to do this is because when I go to this section and I go to details, it gives me a summary of the book here, but it also gives you other areas to explore. So we're going to be doing some research on the history around the time that your book was written. So we want to go here and we want to look, because look at all this different information that it tells us. It tells us that tells us all this. The other things that it talks about is the Churchill Gang right here that we read about in the book. The other thing we could explore and research is World War between 1939 and 1945, the underground movements in Denmark. And it is kind of important to be specific in Denmark, because if we just did the World War 1939 and 1945, that would be really, really broad. So we want to narrow it down a little bit. Here's some other ideas that we could do some research on: the boys' political activities in Denmark. So the good thing about this site right here is that it gives you a lot of background information. Now I'm going to now go over here to Destiny Quest, and I'm going to type it in again. Okay, and when I'm here, I'm going to take this book and I'm going to drag it into my list. So you have to be logged in as yourself. But I drag it into my list, and then I look at my list. And there's The Boys Who Challenged Hitler. The next thing that you want to do when you're here is you go to print options. This is what I love, because I can't stand trying to find all of the citation information, but right here in Destiny Quest it will do it for you. I can click here where it says MLA citation list and do the print view, and there's my citation. So now I have the citation written in the right order, everything that I need for it. So when we actually do our research, you want to save this in your bibliography page so that you can refer back to it. We have the book that we want to do our research on. We're reading the book, but we're going to do research on the history around the time of that book. If you're doing it at school, you can go right to the resources, but if you're doing it at home, you're going to have to go to Mac and Via. So we'll go to macandvia.com, and then right here we'll type in our school. Right, and then you pick it. When you pick it, it makes you come over here and sign on like we normally do. Now for students, I'm not sure if you have to do it at ccisd.com or not, but you can try it both ways. I'm sorry, ccisd.net or not, but you can try it both ways. So I'm going to submit that and hope it works. It does. I don't. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to come over here to databases. And right here, I'm going to type in Gale. So when I type in Gale, only Gale resources come up. Now, in our CCISD resources, we have a lot of them you can use. They're excellent, they're wonderful, but for this activity today, I only want you to use Gale. So I'm going to use Gale, and I'm going to come down and I'm going to find research in context, because I find a lot of good things there. You could also go to biography. If the historical fiction book that you're doing was the main character was a true historical figure, you might want to do research on that. But I tried to do that with the book that I did, and I couldn't find anything. So I'm going to go down here to research in context. I want to load more because I'm not seeing it. Search science in context. Here we go. Let's try this one. Student resources in context. Let's open that one. And this is weird. I don't know why it comes up here, but I'm going to click down here. I want to sign in with that. Then I'm going to do World War II in Denmark, because I'm trying to narrow it down as much as I can. So we're going to search on World War II in Denmark. And my first article that appears is World War II, but I'm going to keep looking to see if I can find anything that's a little bit more specific to World War II in Denmark. Okay, so as I scroll down and I was looking at the different options that I had, I didn't really see anything that was just specific to Denmark. And you might find this too as you try to find something to research. I want you to find a Gale article. So I'm going to go to this World War II article right here because that is the time period that it was in. And then I'm going to start reading the article. As I read the article, I'm going to highlight important information and take notes on it. So let me give you an example of what that would look like. Let's see. Okay, so it says here the war pitted the Allied powers of Great Britain, the Soviet Union, the United States against the Axis, Germany, Italy, and Japan. So I think that's pretty important. So I'm going to highlight that. Let's make that green. And I'm going to take notes on that. So what I'm going to do, remember our notes, we don't have to write everything that they say. So I'm going to say Allies equal Great Britain, Soviet Union, US, okay? And then I'm going to put the axis was Germany, Italy, and Japan. All right, so I'm going to save that note. Now I'm going to continue on. So here the Nazi Party was composed of political military forces of Adolf Hitler, dictator of Germany. Over the next few years, Germany invaded and took control of almost all of Europe and killed millions of civilians. So I'm going to take a note here. I'll highlight that, and I'm going to put notes, and I'm going to say leader Hitler. Oh, well, let's put Adolf Hitler. And took over almost all of Europe. Okay, let's save that one. Meanwhile, the Empire of Japan began aggressively expanding East Asia by attacking China and various other foreign territories in the Pacific Ocean. The Allies eventually launched counterattacks against Germany and Europe. So here we go. We'll highlight that. I'm highlighting a lot, I know it, but we're going to take a note on that because I'm kind of paraphrasing. Japan expanded in East Asia, attacking China. All right, so we'll save that note. Expanded, except I can't spell. ATTA. Attacking China. Okay, so we'll save that. Okay, so we'll put this. We're going to put that one. War ended in 1945. We'll save that. And we're going to put that. Highlight, notes. 60 million were killed. Okay. So then I go on, I can go down here and I can start reading more about how the war started, what began it, then we have the second wave. So you keep reading, and as you're reading, you're taking notes. Okay, so now we have our notes done. We're going to click up here where it says more, and we're going to go to highlights and notes, and then we are going to download them, and we're going to download them into our OneDrive. And once we've done that, we can come up here to, we say okay here. We come up here, here's my OneDrive. I click on my OneDrive. And when I click on my OneDrive, I want to go to modified. And I want to go to my newer to older, because what that will do is it will put the last thing that I worked on at the top. And the way it works in these databases is when it saves it with the title of the database that you were using. So I was using student resources and context, so my information is in here. So I'm going to click on that, and this says highlighted article, so that's what I was working on. So I will open that highlighted article, And then I can, I have, what I have here I think is really cool. It has the title of the article I was reading. Here are my notes, and here is the text that I took those notes from. I really like the way it puts it all here. The way that this is going to help you is it's going to help you not plagiarize. So we don't want to copy and paste this. We want to use this, we want to use our notes, and we want to put it in our own words. So when we're writing our research paper, we have a wonderful resource here. We have our notes, and then we can edit that in Word. So we can open it up in Word. Here it comes. It's downloading. And then from here, we can't see it because that's not, there we go. From here, you can adjust it, and you can, take this out or whatever you want to do. Or save it or upload it or whatever you want to do with this. All right, so let me go back. I'll go back up here. Can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to save it over here, as we always do. Click that little saving button. And then I'm going to close this. But maybe I'm not, because it won't close. We're back on our Word document that's on our Office 365 file. And I want to come up here before I finish. I want to edit that. I'm going to convert it. And here, I don't know why, we have to click on all these buttons just to edit this document. And I'm going to edit it. Okay, here it comes. Word Online. The first thing that I want to make sure that I do that I forgot to do earlier is I want to add a title up here. Edit in browser. Come on. Click up here. I sometimes have to be patient. And instead of having highlighted article, I want to change that to World War II research. So now I have some notes from my World War II research. All right, now one more thing before I finish off. One thing I forgot to do is I forgot to get my citation for this article. So right here, we want to go over here to citation tools. And this is another interesting thing. It gives you the citation right here. And again, I told you before, I really hate trying to find all the information. So I love the databases because it gives it to you. Over here, you have this option to export it. So I could export it to EasyBib, which I love, but we're having difficulty using EasyBib right now. Or I can also export it to OneDrive. So in this case, I'm going to export it to OneDrive since we have a OneDrive. I'm going to tell it to export. I say OK. And so now it says that it has exported it to my OneDrive. So let's go back up here to my OneDrive. All right. Let's go to my OneDrive. I'm going to go to my most recent documents like I did before. Modified, newer to older. And here we go. We got this. Now we have our citation. So now I have my World War II research doc that I renamed. It's right here. And I have my citation for that. So what I want to do when I come up here, I want to make sure that I name this citation so I know what it's a citation for. Okay, I have to do all my clicks again like I showed you before. And I will rename it. So I'm going to name this World. I'm going to abbreviate WW2 citations. All right, so there you have it. This is a quick overview of how to use the Gale resources to take notes and save them.